Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, you've guessed it, we have yet another Sinn. Yes, they just keep coming. Now, this one has come courtesy of Ryan over at Francis and Gay of Coventry. I've said it before, but if you're after a Sinn and, they're just the go-to guys, I think, in the UK to get it for you. They have a massive selection in stock, and they'll be able to sort you out a deal and get a watch posted out to you. That's if you can't make it into their actual shop. So anyway, here we are. This is a bit of a controversial one because this is the Sinn 903. Now, lots of people look at this watch. Let's zoom in a little bit there. Lots of people look at this watch and just go, well, that's a NaviTimer, isn't it? That's a Breitling NaviTimer. But it's kind of more than that, really, because you've got to remember, Sinn own the right to make this watch. Because back in the late 70s, Breitling was not doing well at all with the quartz crisis. And subsequently, Sinn approached them and offered to buy the rights to the NaviTimer. And basically, I think we got rights to the 806 and the 809. And they even brought a load of cases and dials as well at the time. And ever since then, they've been making this watch. And there's some differences versus this and its competitor. Now, you've got to remember, first of all, this is a 41mm watch. Now, you can't get I don't believe you can anyway, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't believe you can get a Breitling NaviTimer with chronos at that size. I think they start at a 43mm. Model, where this is only 41, so it does have that to its advantage, I believe, anyway. And there's some other things this does which the Breitling watch can't do. Now, let's get into sizes. As I've already stated, this is a 41mm case size. It is 14.5mm thick, and the lug to lug is 48mm. The bandwidth is 22mm on this model. So let's have a look in at that dial, shall we? Now, being that it's a NaviTimer style, we have the slide rule around the side here, so it is a very busy dial. But there's a reason for that. There's 1,000,001 things you can do with this slide rule. Now, it's quite strange because you'd think to move this around, you would use the bezel to actually rotate, as after all, it does have knurling, indents around the side of it. But that's a bit too clumsy, isn't it? So on this one, we have it on a rotating internal bezel, which is, I actually prefer. I think that's quite nice. But, horses for courses on that one. The dial itself, it's, as you can see, we have many different functions of the slide rule around it. I'm not going to go all into them because the simple fact is I don't know them all. I know a few, but I'm not going to get into it all because there's just so many things you can do, and you can carry on and on. We do have the subdials for the chrono at the 3, 6 and 9 there. The chrono, I should point out as we press it here. Nice. Actually, quite a nice feel to that if I do it again. Yep, very positive. We'll leave that running. And you have the nice red tip at the top of the second hand there. The hands are quite slim on this model, but it's all keeping with that dial. Now, the actual crystal is a really, really beautiful dome crystal on this. It is absolutely stunning. It just looks so good, and it gives a good kind of magnification of the dial. I do like that. It's got AR coating on both sides. Now, as we come round here, you can see this bezel does slightly taper in as it heads to the body of the watch. Now, as we come round to the actual case, it is, I've got my dirty fingerprints all over it, but we do have brushwork going on there. We have polished bevels here and polished top there. Let's zoom out a little tiny bit there, and there we go. So it's a very it's a very solid feeling watch, this. It's not super heavy, but it does feel nice and solid, and it gives you that impression, I believe, on the case. Now the crown is, let me stop that, zoom that back, is a screw down crown. Now this is another advantage the Sinn has over the NaviTimer, and the simple fact is this is a 100-meter water resistant watch. I believe the NaviTimer, I believe it is only 30 meters. But as you can see, plenty of screw down, plenty of screw thread there. Screw it back in, and there you go. That's it. Like I say, we also have the crown up here for rotating the internal bezel. Now, as we look around the back of this watch, you can see that movement, and that is a lovely, well-decorated movement there. Now, this is, now let me get this right, I think it's the LJP 8000 movement in this. So it's not really a movement I've ever come across before, but it seems to work perfectly well. We do have a column wheel in there, and it just works nicely. I did put it on the time graph, and it was pulling up at 1 second. So it seems really good. If I was to have a slight criticism, as you go to wind this watch, no, that's the date. As we come round here, sorry, what's it is a bit noisy, the winding of it. It's not the smoothest watch to wind, I would say, but you know, it's, again, it's not really any major problem, but I wouldn't say it's the smoothest to wind. But in operation, it seems perfectly accurate, and it's got a very positive feeling to the pushers. So there you go. But that's my take on that. But it does seem a nice, yeah, it does seem a very solid movement. Let's get that in. There we go. Okay, so anyway, let's come around here. So the bracelet, we do have Sinn's fine link on this, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think the fine link does a good job of dressing the watch up, and I think it makes it look a little bit more expensive. Now this watch, I should point out, is almost half the price of the NaviTimer. It's 3,200. I dare say give them a call, see what you can do on that, but the competitor watch is, I think it's coming on for 7,000. So this makes more sense to buy, I think, but there again, it's everything. It's like everything. It's the name. It's what you really want. But I think this is, you know, if this is the type of watch you want, you're on a budget. I say a budget, it's still £3,000, but this is far more obtainable. So it's kind of up to you guys which you prefer. I'll put this on my wrist so you got an idea. Let's zoom out a little bit on this. Now I'm wearing an EZM13 today. Now I haven't sized this watch, as I say, it isn't mine. It's off the shop, but there you go. I think it actually looks quite nice. But it looks bigger, I would say, than what the numbers suggest. And the simple reason I believe it looks bigger, if you compare it to a EZM13, you can see it makes EZM13 look small, or smaller, should I say. But the reason why is a simple fact is this is all dial. When you look at the thickness of the bezel on this, it is only a couple of mil, if that. When you look at the bezel on this model, it looks a lot, it's a lot chunkier and makes the dial look smaller. So it's kind of misleading. I think the figures are for this watch 41 mil, but it looks bigger. Anyway, let me know what you think. Would you consider this over the NaviTimer or not, or would you'd have to go that way? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, all the best, guys. Stay safe out there. Bye.